I hope you and Babu Jack recap it on high kicks and arm bars. I would love to hear. I would like to hear his very British. He's British, I think, right?
Scottish.
Got it. Oh God, don't I hope that. I hope he never said. Oh shit, we're on live now. Hey everybody, you are watching and listening to the We Are Rizin podcast. This is your host Andrew Benjamin. I am joined by once again the man from Japan, the creator of Sogu Kaku, Pancreas commentator, and Deep Jewel's biggest fan, CJ Charles Jewett.
Great to be on to talk about one of the greatest press conferences of all time.
This press conference, well, first of all, it's definitely was my best press conference that they've had so far.
It was definitely way better than the one in Las Vegas.
The one in Las Vegas was so cringe. I don't even count that as like an active press conference.
The one in Vegas seemed like it was being held like a VFW with a couple angry like veterans and one local beat reporter in the crowd.
Yeah, well, listen, it was, if you want to say that was a Mayweather podcast, Mayweather press conference, I would be totally fine with that because it was, because and then they announced the whole streaming thing, Rizin streaming thing. Remember when they called it the Rizin Fight Pass? That's where they.
Yeah, it's very original. I wonder where they cut the name.
Oh yeah. But with this, well, first of all, did you watch the YouTube version? I'm guessing.
Yes, I did.
Okay. For the first time, first of all, I like that they had it in English, and then they had somebody talking over in Japanese. Who remember the good old days when Shingo was the one who was doing comments, or he would translate them on Facebook.
See, I hated it. I needed there to be like a toggle button where I could choose whether to listen to the English or the Japanese, because it just made it hard for me to listen to either one.
Well, no, I was able to hear it perfectly, but I remember the good old the good old days when Shingo would be on the Facebook version, and he'd be talking quietly to the camera as they were speaking Japanese. I know, but
like rising ASMR.
Yes, Rizin ASMR, as I call it. So was it just hard to understand because you're hearing in English, and then the Japanese voice was like they definitely like cranked it up.
Because naturally there's like a delay happening between them. The one guy, the Japanese translator, is translating what's being said, but so then you kind of like, if you kind of understand both languages, you kind of like find yourself getting distracted and listening to the other one because the Japanese one's so much louder.
I see. I mean, so who? I mean, did you see? Fun. I thought it, but overall though, like, I thought it was maybe one of my probably the best press conference in Rizin history, but also maybe one of the top ones in MMA history, or I guess fighting sports. It's the only the thing about Rizin press conferences is that they never seem structured.
Yeah.
They just have an idea of like, we're going to talk about this, and then suddenly like it just delves into madness or like technical issues, or Sakakibara talking for an hour just about nothing.
So that's what I normally hate. What I normally hate is that press conferences are like Sakakibara or Takada just rambling on and on about stuff that I do not care about. Do you remember there was a press conference where they're supposed to introduce fights, and instead of introducing the fights, Sakakibara just rambled about how fighters shouldn't call for fights on social media?
Yes, was that when he had the feud with Nadaka, or
No, I think it was like a Koji thing where like, was it Koji and some other guy were calling for
was
a
it
fight on social media?
Was it him and Taiju? Was it that far back?
Might have been that. It might have been that. For some reason, I'm also getting like flashbacks that Nakamura might have been involved, but who knows?
Okay. By the way, just to let you know, your co-host from High Kicks and Arm Bars, Babu Jack, is it here?
Oh, very good. It's always great to see him around.
Well, actually, it's Babu Jack II, so it might be Babu Jack Jr. Who knows?
He does have a lot of children, so who knows?
But I mean, like, well, here's the thing. I think all the weird things that happens with usual Rizin press conference really did not happen with this one. And actually, so they did it in 3 parts technically. Was it
Yeah.
3? Yeah, and
It was 3 parts, and I thought it was smart to do it that way
yeah.
because by putting the Mayweather stuff last, you kind of forced people to listen. Because ideally, for Rising, the first 2 parts of it were actually the more important information to get out to people.
Yeah.
The how to watch it, what it is.
Oh, can we
kind of the
give him credit
introductions.
for announcing actually how to watch it like a month in advance?
Yeah,
You know,
no, I thought I could hear Jay Wolf just climaxing in the distance as they announced DirecTV, satellite, and dish options. So
yeah. So I mean, so what? I have a question. Was there actual Japanese reporters there as well? Was like Gong or
no, there
other?
was. They didn't seem like they're from Gong, but there was 2 Japanese reporters that asked questions.
Yeah. By the way, not to
And
Mikuru. Did they ask Mayweather and Sakakibara questions? Once again,
I
Mikuru.
had I have a tally so far in the 2 press conferences for this event. Mikuru has been asked 0 questions.
Yeah, yeah. It's so yeah. I was actually, it's been like he has been the one like who's not surprisingly has been forgotten about.
I thought it
Um,
was hilarious when the Jap. So, how belittling of a moment was it when before the picture was taken, when the announcer was like, "So, Mikuru, do you want to say anything?"
oh yeah, he
Like, oh
just
my
he said
god.
he said something, and I don't even remember what it was. And he said he tried to like do some trash talk, and it was really awful.
No, Mikuru
Um,
did, yeah, but the announcer was just like throwing him like pity. It was like, "Oh,
yeah,
you flew all the way here. Would you like to say something?"
yeah,
And Mikuru's trash talking was awful. I mean, Mayweather's not good on the mic, and his trash talk was so bad it made Mayweather look like he's good on the mic.
yeah. Um,
What did
I
he say?
guess
He said, "Oh, let him know another thing." So when Mayweather come to the table, there was these like rising gloves there,
yes.
and I had to laugh because the first thing Mayweather did was move them out of frame so that there wouldn't be any pictures with him, and he put his own products on the table in front of him.
Oh yeah,
And
that was what
then,
Mikuru said to you. I challenge you to use MMA gloves, and then
yeah,
Mayweather went this whole thing about, oh, if I wanted to do MMA, Rise would pay me to do MMA. I know I'm the guy who's in control or some shit like that.
I thought Mayweather's comment completely smashed Mikuru. It was like, "Oh, I'm the greatest boxer of all time. I do whatever I want to do. I'm the A side to this record. And if they want me to do MMA, they can pay me to do MMA, but they paid me to do boxing." And then I think
Uh,
Mikuru made some comment about how Mayweather talks too much. It's like, yeah, I agree with that.
well, don't forget that he didn't do a lot, when it came to the trash talk, obviously the thing that would be the most memorable for this press conference would be having Mayweather, I don't know, Ren Hiramoto joining TMT.
That was so weird. It seemed to me like almost like a pre-planned thing
It had
almost.
to be. Well, here's the thing I'm trying to theorize.
Wait,
So
wait. Can I make one comment about this?
yes, yes,
It was very clear to me that Mayweather did not know his name.
yes. Well, so that's the thing. I was trying to think. So okay, Mayweather has no fucking clue who Ren is,
Yeah.
and so I'm wondering, did maybe was there some backstage shenanigans? So like ribbing maybe, where like Sakakibara told Mayweather, hey, listen, we got this guy who hates Mikuru, who will like shit talk him. Can he do something with you? And they're just like, yeah, sure, whatever. And I have to wonder if Rise and Brass were involved in any way because
Well, I think they were. I
because
think that they want Ren to be on. I mean, you got Mayweather at a press conference, and so I think they're just trying to get as much shine for their buck as possible.
mm,
And so they're trying to like, oh, let's get another one of our young stars up there with Mayweather, so that this will also be in the news.
but I also wonder if they did it because Mikuru is is not well, I don't know how much longer he's planning to fight for Ryzen, if if this is his last thing, maybe because now he's got his breaking down thing, by the way, which they already put English subtitles on one of the shows, I think, and it has like over 8 million views. So
No, those videos get released on YouTube, and within 2 days they have 5 million views.
yeah. So is it perhaps that Ryzen sees breaking down and Mikuru is almost competition at this point? And
I
maybe
don't
this
think
is their way
so.
of trying to like you know, I guess I kind of just like throw him under the bus,
I don't think so. I think what it is Sakakibara, in my opinion, is probably more we got to do what Breaking Down's doing than seeing it as a competitor, which is why they're probably going to do this whole Hawaii like tryout thing. Because I don't know if you're familiar with Breaking Down. The whole idea of Breaking Down is he has a bunch of tryouts, and then the fighters that impress Mikuru get to fight on the show.
Yeah, but those are not real MMA fighters. Those are like street urchins or whoever they find. Guys with
Everybody,
tattoos.
it's guys with tattoos, porn stars, comedians, YouTubers. It's great. It attracts only the finest people.
Yeah. Babu Jack says Mayweather probably just calls him Rat Boy.
Yeah. I mean, I bet honestly before the press conference, it was like, we're gonna have a guy come up on stage, just play along. Here's $100,000.
But that was hilarious though. When Ren was acting as a interpreter. That is. Did you see? Here's the thing: you would not have. It was so. I guess the equivalent of like anything happening in UFC is probably like when Connor threw the water bottle at Nate as probably being like maybe their most memorable press conference. But this just seems so out of the blue and just so. Oh, also not to mention his shirt as well. The fuck MMA for beginner shirt.
So that was hilarious because
I need that shirt so bad.
That was so funny because try thinking of it from perspective. If you don't know who Ren Hitamoto is, you're just like, who is this extremely tattooed guy? Whenever Mayweather is talking, it just says like "fuck MMA" right by his head. He's like, what is going on? Mayweather is like awkwardly not saying his name. He's like, this guy right here, my translator, training partner, great guy.
And then so when all that shit was done, by the way, did you like how Mayweather went into promoting whatever the fuck it was that it was? I don't even know what it was. It was like cream or something for like.
He started promoting like a CBD oil cream and the Limitless hat that he's wearing.
Oh yes, yeah. See, this is the problem. This is just the overall thing about that I just don't get with Rizin and Mayweather is that clearly this is a one-sided relationship. It is so clearly one-sided, and I don't know what the benefit is that they think that I don't think that Mayweather has the cachet that he had in terms of drawing people in. Maybe since I don't know. I don't think it just doesn't I don't see this. The first time that it happened with the tension exhibition thing, whatever, it was like out of the blue and it made sense. And it made, from you had the best kickboxer in the world versus the best boxer in the world. You kind of had that little dynamic. But with this one, there's really no, like, I don't see any talk about it. And I'm just wondering, like, I feel like this is not going to be the end of this relationship. We're going to see Mayweather again at some points. Like a year.
No, it's a weird relationship. And I mean, Shu said that Rising made a way to make it work, which I don't get it because I just feel like he's not worth the money. Because I've always said the good example would be like how they used to be obsessed with Mike Tyson fighting for K1 back in the day or something.
Yeah.
In Pride. But my thing is, they're different types of popular. Mayweather nowadays sells a lot of pay-per-views if people want his opponent to win. Like Conor McGregor, Logan Paul, that type of stuff. Nobody in the US knows / gives a shit who Mikuru is. Mm-hmm. So I just don't think it's going to get the attention. People watched Mike Tyson to smash people. They didn't care who he was fighting. That's not the case with Mayweather.
The other thing also is that how do you sell? Like, you can, like, if you wanted to sell tension, it's a lot easier to sell him based on his highlights and all that stuff. So I can get that. Yeah. But if you just watch Mikuru, he's not like some exceptional fighter. He just happened to get the breakout in a lucky way among the Japanese audience, with YouTube and all that stuff. But in terms of fighting skill, he is I wouldn't even say top 15. So how do you promote him? How do you promote it's not, it's like, if they're saying it's the best boxer versus most popular MMA fighter or most popular fighter in Japan, which is
what they said. Literally, their marketing angle seems to be the most famous fighter in Japan, which isn't even true. So I was talking about that with my wife today. It's like, and of the Rising roster, he's probably the most popular, but it's kind of an interesting discussion. Mikuru's has a lot of fans. I'm not taking that away from him, but I don't think he has the broad market appeal that Tenshin and Naoya Inoue have.
Yeah.
Because his fights don't happen on live TV like me. His fights happen behind a paywall most of the time. And I'll walk around, old people like 80s, 70s. I like watching fighting sports. They're like, oh, Tenshin. You like to watch Tenshin fight. I've never heard a single person that's like not an MMA fan bring up Mikuru. And so Mikuru's fans are like young people that watch YouTubers, but he doesn't have that broad market appeal, in my opinion. Tenshin's name somehow has just saturated the zeitgeist of Japan, where everybody knows who he is.
Yeah, I get it, and while his name might not be known here, there is still people who go, oh, Mayweather, the Japanese guy that Mayweather fought or something in Japan. So he at least has that to him. But
speaking of which, did you notice the one Hawaii reporter asked the question to Mayweather? Are you expecting a similar outcome to the last fight where the result was what it was? I was like, ouch. What an what a low blow to Tenshin.
I mean, what else? This is it's standing rules or whatever they're going to call this, so I don't expect what is it? Mayweather said, I'm going to make it last for as long as they pay me or something. Was it? He said that the first press conference.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it just also sucks because I don't know what, I honestly, I don't know. The one-sidedness of the relationship is just so bothersome to me. And like, I don't know, you just said that Shu said that they made it work. I don't like, just as from a business perspective, it's clear that like Mayweather does not give a shit. Like you said, he's only being paid. He's only going to give as much effort as he's being paid. It's almost like, I don't know.
Would a terrible example be to be like, he's like Bob Sapp? Bob Sapp openly said he'll only fight as hard as you pay him.
At least Bob Sapp though looks like he's giving effort for the first minute, and then as soon as when it one's done, he clocks out, and he'll sell the fight up until then. And in fairness, Bob Sapp is undefeated in Rizin, and he put up a fight against Osunarashi. So I'm not
who got banned from sumo again. But
exactly. Yeah.
So do you think the way this fight goes is if Mikuru pulls a Tenshin? I think Tenshin's mistake was that Tenshin like actually tried to fight Floyd.
That's good. No, that's actually good. And
then Floyd went, "Oh, you want to fight? I'm just going to knock you out in the first round."
No, I mean here because it was clear that Tenshin was there not to play. Mayweather was there looking like he was going to have fun and all that stuff. I give Tenshin a lot of credit, for going in there with like that, because that meant that this was not some soft sparring exhibition. I'll give the same thing also to Bukaw when he fucked up Kota Miura. He could have come in, and been, it could have gone, like a light sparring session. No, Buakaw's like, okay, motherfucker.
Well, in Buakaw's case, I think he was just angry that all the girl fans talked to Kota and not him.
Okay, that's true. That's also true. But these exhibition fights, they have like, I think that it's really like when they don't go as like an actual competitive fight, and by competitive fight I mean like where it looks like both that they're actually putting on effort and trying to win, those are the worst. If you remember, do you remember like that celebrity boxing thing that used to be on Fox where they had
where they had Screech fight Joey Buttafuoco.
Yes. And that was like, that's maybe like the worst.
R.I.P. Rest in peace, Screech.
Yes. R.I.P. Screech. Yeah. It's when it seems like, okay, they're doing more like a pro wrestling boxing match than like actual way. And, I think that Mikuru would actually come in and try to win. But
do you think his sparring sessions with the Yaw Man are going to pay off? I hear they're training daily.
Maybe a little bit. I don't know.
I will say also, this press conference was so much better than that weird ass video they made with Manny Pacquiao, where it was like they pushed a confused Manny Pacquiao into the ring who was wearing blue jeans with a flannel shirt tucked into it, who was just like, "You're punching wrong. This is how you're supposed to punch."
Well, also, I did miss I like that. I did miss that they didn't bring the video screen over. That's the one thing I did
Oh,
miss.
yeah.
I was hoping that they were gonna bring the video that they were gonna transform. The video
Sakakibara did seem out of place without a TV screen to point at.
By the way, I also have to say Sakakibara looking like he's hitting the gym as well.
Oh, he's looked like that for a while. I gotta say, I hate it when he doesn't gel his hair.
Oh, his hair's just flopping around all over the place when he like talks.
He alternates between like looking like a rich person and looking like he's homeless, and he's got to like gel it back.
I know when so I'm one of those people when like hair like gets like down to like the eyebrows, it really bothers me, especially when it's like flopping around, as you talk. It like I'm trying to think of like who else has hair like that. It really bothers me. But like, yeah, like yes, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I know the homeless thing you're talking about. Yeah. Yeah.
He shows up in a white t-shirt with his hair down, and you're just
yes.
It's like
It was casual.
roll out of bed.
It was casual Tuesday or whatever it was in Hawaii.
Yeah.
I guess the other big announcement, well, also Japanese perspective from you, CJ. So they announced the pay-per-view or the Bima price. Oh, by the way, Anna says hi, my favorite people, Andrew and CJ-san.
Hi, Anna.
Hi,
you're
Anna.
having fun with your kickboxing training.
Yes. Let us know when your next fight is. We want to, congratulations, by the way, on your first win, by the way. So
yeah, congratulations.
Maybe you'll be the next opponent for Mayweather at some point. Who knows?
Well, it wouldn't be the first woman he's punched. So.
That was too easy. That was too easy. So yeah, they announced the Bima. It was a Bima, right? Or is it?
Yeah.
Okay. It was
a Bima Rising Stream Pass, satellite, Dish TV. Was it Direct TV as well?
Is it the line viewing as well, and also Sky Ticket? I think they said. Did they say Sky Ticket?
I think all I saw for the US part, the Japan part was a Bima and Rising Stream Pass,
and also fights. They announced Fight. They're back on Fight.
And then I think they also said something about Abima is going to have a special Mikuru channel.
Okay,
should be kind of interesting. Which might be part of Mikuru's side of the deal to get his own Abima channel.
Well, he got his own KO highlights on Rizin, which is only like 2 minutes long. Not even 2 minutes. It's like a minute long of like his.
Who was it? Did somebody in the Discord say something about having a Miyu highlight video?
Yes.
Miyu finishes.
Well, I said that. I was like, we should get a best of Miyu finishes, which is funny because she has not finished anybody. But you took it another way that I will not repeat here for YouTube.
The sensitive listeners.
Yes, for YouTube reasons. So what they said it. So can you just so they're not, are they treating it as separate shows, the prices, or is it just one show? So that's 6,000 yen for
it's
all
included for one show. The only place that they said they might consider selling it separately is the US.
Okay. That's why because when they showed those separate prices, I was like, wait, are they charging 6,000 for like Super Rise and it's 6,500
no. Those separate prices are, if you buy it in advance, it's 6,000. If you buy it day of, it's 6,600.
Okay. So
if you're a Bima premium member, it was like 20% off.
So I'm guessing that's gonna be the same price as well for Rise and Stream Pass as well. That apart from
it'll be
okay.
The prices tend to be the same, so it'll be about 6,000 yen. Unless for some reason you want to spend $6 more and watch it the day of.
So, are you going to go to the show? I'm guessing you're not going to go to the show because the ticket prices are really absurd.
I'll be in the US.
Oh, you're going to be in the US?
I'm going to the US for 2 weeks, so
okay.
I will force my friends to watch it. I'm thinking of ordering it on
Dish or Direct
TV. Yeah,
they're going to be in for you should just that's
going to be I'm looking forward to seeing Damian Brown inside of a bathroom talking about
it. Okay, you're not gonna be the champ. Fuck, I was gonna be like, how would you order it, or how would you go say? Okay, so let's just say if you were in Japan,
no, I would order it just through the Rising website.
Okay, you wouldn't spend the $7,500 for nosebleed seats. Is it $7,500 or what's their lowest pricing for tickets there? for
I
the
think the
show?
lowest is $150 for the nosebleeds.
Okay. Okay. So what do you think about this price? I know that Babu Jack, don't know if he's still in the chat, was not happy about it. Uh
They're not selling well. The event's not selling well. If you look, a lot of tickets are still available. When the match went for sale, I mean, it was a lottery system.
Mm.
You had to get the right to buy a ticket.
Yes.
That's how much demand there was.
Yes.
The only tickets that are sold out for this are like that front row of VIP.
So like the advertiser or sponsors kind of.
So like sponsors and Mikuru's big lawyer sponsor and people bought the 8,000 one, but that's only the front row. Everything else, there's still tickets available.
You think is this one of those things where as they soon they start to announce more, they'll sell more tickets, or there's gonna be like a big walk up, or the other thing I was also thinking is that like if you're just coming off the match, which obviously ticket prices for that were absurd but made sense, and so now you're having kind of
the prices aren't that different though.
They aren't.
The Bob Lewis smartly pointed out the cheap tickets are the same price.
Oh, they are. Okay, I thought it was still absurdly expensive because
it's just the VIP and like the expensive tickets that are cheaper.
I see. Okay. I mean, well, you're coming off the match, which I don't know. Like, do you think it's I also know the yen is still worth nothing. Probably my coffee that I just bought is worth more than the yen at this point. So I mean, so why do you think tickets are not selling well? Is it just too early? Do you think people just don't give a shit? Is this one of those things where they're going to buy tickets later, you think, as they announce more stuff?
Well, I don't want to jump to conclusions too quickly because Jack won and wisely pointed out now that nowadays things seem to happen way more last minute. But
I heard, yeah. He said that on high kicks and arm bars, yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like Mayweather just isn't the drawing power that Sakakibara thinks he is.
He is not, especially in Japan. He is not.
I mean, I was talking to hardcore MMA fans over here. They don't give a shit about Mayweather.
No.
Yeah. And when a fight is this one-sided, I think it's hard to generate interest for it.
And by the way, it's Floyd or whatever they spell his
foiled, whatever
it's foiled Mayweather.
But I mean, my issue with this is maybe they're just testing it. Maybe Mikuru, once he starts pumping out some YouTube comment to promote it, his fans will step up and buy a bunch of tickets. But all I know is that so far they haven't.
Yeah, I mean, like, well, here, it would make sense also, to have Mayweather. Well, if you could have international people come in, but I know that Japan is still loosening restrictions on September 7th. But there's still absurd restrictions going on in Japan. So you would figure, okay, you're gonna have him because the first time that you had him, I don't know how many people came over to see Mayweather, but I'm gonna guess probably, you had probably some Mayweather fans come by, maybe. I have to assume there's some, but
I mean, maybe. But would they come out to Japan to see him fight somebody that they know he's going to smash?
Yeah, good point. I don't know.
Do you also like how Sakakibara said that one of the reasons he wants to do it in Hawaii is because he knows that Japanese fans will come to watch the events in Hawaii? I was talking to my wife, and I was like, no one's going to do that. That's so expensive. And the yen is so shitty right now that no one's going to go to Hawaii, an already expensive place, just to go watch a rising fight.
I was so confused. I thought he was saying, so when they translate, I thought he said that they're having Mayweather and Mikuru fight in Hawaii. And I was so confused. I was like, wait, they're changing the venue? But no. Yeah. So yeah, they also Rizin said they're gonna do shows. They didn't say they're gonna do a show, they'd say they're gonna do shows. That means more
in Hawaii in 2023 with the help of Scott Coker and Instant Inoue.
And BJ Penn and governor, or is he governor? Or running for governor?
They called him, I think he lost, but he's challenging it in the Hawaii Supreme Court.
Okay. Who, by the way, he came late to the press conference. Apparently he was coming from another island. So I don't know how that works. If he was just like, how that, I thought he was maybe got to a fight in a parking lot, and that's why he was late.
Making claims for like the people that thought he won to like meet up around January 6th or something. I can't.
How crazy would have been though if he was there, not to be like BJ Penn running for governor, but they announced like him versus Takanori Gomi.
That would have been amazing. And
listen, you want that's
you like how Sakakibara like really desperately wanted a picture with BJ Penn.
Yes. It's
like, what's going on here?
It reminds me of the thing where when he went to go see Dana and he like gave him the hat, the Rizin hat.
Okay, that was so embarrassing.
I just
listened to a podcast with Tom Segura where he talked about going out to dinner with Dana White and how Dana White was just like casually buying $5,000 bottles of wine for the table.
Oh yeah, well he also buys $10,000 shoes for his friends. You've seen that.
Well, he gave that one friend like $250,000 in cash, didn't he?
Yeah.
And then Sakakibara shows up like a homeless man and is like, "Hey, I brought you a Snap hat.
Yeah,
I hope you like it."
What other highlights for the? Well, I guess part one they did announce.
First off,
the
absolute best part of this press conference was Hagiwara and Suzuki.
Yes. So let's talk about that. So the first part was they had the Bill V. I have no idea who that is. And they had Ensign and Egon. Who's to confirm the live. Make an appearance.
I think his name is Egan, not Egon.
Sorry, Egan.
Is Egon from the Ghostbusters showing up? It'd be a Twinkie 35 miles long.
What do you think? So what do you think? Do you think Ensign is now going to be kind of their liaison or Hawaii liaison? But
Rising always just had those like weird ambassador positions. Maybe he'll just be like the Hawaii ambassador.
Is Manny Pacquiao still their Philippines ambassador? Remember that?
He seemed so confused in that recent video. He's like, "What is going on?
How do people get into my mansion?"
Exactly.
But I was just thinking, so this is the one time that Sakakibara can actually publicly get away with working with the Yakuza.
Incident no, it's not Yakuza. He just happens to know people that are Yakuza.
Oh, okay, I stand corrected. So if that means that Ensign is going to be working Rizin, do you think we'll see more Sudario in that case potentially?
That's what I was thinking. If they go to Hawaii, that probably means Sudario will be there, and Hawaii would be a great spot to find the heavyweights.
Oh, yeah, because you get the people from Guam.
Boys.
You can also get the people from Guam as well. Rocky Martinez. But
that's if this actually turns into something.
Do you think this Hawaii thing is this going to be another one of those things that Sakakibara says they want to do and then it never winds up happening?
2023 is a long way away. I'll believe this is happening when it happens.
And I'm guessing they'll probably have to have it on a show where like Bellator is also doing like Friday they do the Rizin show or Friday they do the Bellator show or Saturday. You think that's how they got? I can't see Rizin.
Well, Sakakibara mentioned Scott Coker. He said they're doing the shows in Hawaii with the help of Scott Coker. So Bellator is involved somehow. This is going to be like a cross-promoted event. I wouldn't be surprised if it's kind of like that Bellator in Japan card.
Babu says with the match, cheapest ticket was 15,000 yen, followed by 20,000, 30,000 to 50,000, etc. Foil versus Mikuru, as cheapest is 20,000, then it jumped to 50,000. So not as many cheaper options. So actually, it sounds like foil is much more expensive than the match
for the poor people. Yes,
for the poor people. I got you. Okay.
You better believe that I would not pay. Say no one goes to a fight alone. So say you're going with one friend, you're dropping $400. Got to throw in like, I don't know, throwing like $50 for getting to and from the venue, food, drinks. Okay. I'm spending $600 to go sit at the very top of the Saitama Super Arena and also watch a fight on a screen that's very far away.
It's also because I know you, if you went there, you'd have to get some sort of merchandise or something. Well, so you're spending $60 on a poster or whatever it is. And I've been to Saitama. Food there is not cheap. It is not cheap at all.
The nosebleeds is not good for watching a fight at all.
Oh yeah, no. So when I went to cover Rizin 11, so they had the press people watching the show all the way up in the nosebleeds.
Yeah.
And I was watching the screen So we had the option of going to the press room or there. I was just like, I'm just gonna go to the press room because I could just watch it on TV there, and I don't have to watch it on a screen all the way up here. So, yeah.
Smart
So,
move. Wasn't that around the time that Rising released that memo about how foreign press weren't allowed to drink at the events anymore?
see, I never got that memo, so I hope it wasn't me. I hope that wasn't. I hope I'm not the reason for that for them changing that policy.
I laughed so hard when I saw that memo. I'm like, how trashed was some foreign media member just like stumbling
In
around?
fairness, though, so when I was there, they did. So obviously, oh my God, I'm forgetting his name. Brazilian guy. How the fuck can I forget his name? The one who's always at every Verizon show.
Oh,
Brazilian,
Bruno.
Bruno. I was thinking Bernard. Bruno. Yeah, Bruno was there. He wasn't trash. There was some Korean press there as well. I forgot from where. Maybe they're the ones who got fucked up. So maybe it's not just the white guys that they're picking on. Oh, Babu Jack says no one goes to a fight alone. He says that is not true. I went to the Rizin open weight.
He says that because Babalu Jack goes to fights alone all the time.
I went to the Rizin to the New Year's Eve show where they had the open weight where Crow Cop won. I went to both days alone at the Saitama Super Arena, and I was not embarrassed at all.
I've also been to many fights alone. For some reason, shoot boxing used to always give me the same seat. And so you just see me in all the YouTube videos, just like alone by myself, like sitting on a bleacher in the Korakuen Hall.
Oh, that's funny. Times. That's funny. By the way, as well, just randomly, Kaito, who just fought he's having another fight this year. I don't know if he's saying yes.
Shoot boxing's got to make their money. Go out there, Kaito. Make Caesar some money. Caesar's hungry.
Yes. He looked so happy during the match because all of his guys were winning during the match. And he looked so happy.
I keep teasing Babalu Jack because these shoot boxing and deep kick guys are beating the shit out of everybody else.
Yeah. So there's quite clearly deep kick and shoot boxing are the number one promotions that are producing the best talents.
Shoot boxing alumni include Buakaw.
Yes.
Andy Sauer, Ben Rothwell.
Yes.
Some of the greatest of all time.
Exactly.
Jessica Penne.
Yes. Oh yeah. So let's talk about that Chihiro Suzuki and Kyoei Hagiwara. Clearly being Hagiwara. And
so good. It was amazing.
I love
Hagiwara more than ever.
So I hope you have no more negative opinions about him other than his takedown defense being awful, which
not gonna be an issue in this fight.
Oh, so well in fairness, what's his name? He did beat Yamamoto with takedowns. Suzuki, you remember from their fights? Suzuki beat oh my God, I'm forgetting.
Seigo Yamamoto. Who?
The guy who just fought on Vugar.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's 6 a.m. So my brain is working at half capacity. I'm gonna look up right now.
Yeah, that's the guy that's from that Power of Dream gym.
Yes, Sora Yamamoto.
Yeah, okay, Power of Dream. Okay.
I was gonna say also the son of the pro wrestler Kenichi Yamamoto.
Yeah.
So Suzuki beat him when they both had their debuts, I believe it was.
Yeah, but that's back when Suzuki had his sugar mama floating the bills.
That's true.
So high dream.
Hagiwara was like, if you're not, what was it? He said if you're not if you're a scandal, go ahead.
I have a mini transcript for you.
Okay, great.
Suzuki goes up there and gives a very boring speech about how he's going to win in all facets of the fight.
Oh, wow. I've never heard a Japanese fighter ever say that before.
Yeah. He also said aloha, then he sat down. Then Hagiwara goes up there and says, Suzuki-kun, which is like super insulting. It's like calling him a child. It's like calling him a child, right? Yeah, he called him like Suzuki-kun. He's had a problem with his mama outside of the ring. And then Suzuki got mad and said, hey, let's just talk about the fight, not things outside of it. And then Hagiwara said, essentially, well, it sounds like you're protesting a little too much and your silence makes it seem like you have something to hide. And oh my God, Suzuki must have just absolutely he must want to kill Hagiwara for those comments.
I wonder what the press who were like, so you had press like local Hawaii TV there, and imagine like, I think so they did it on a beach as well. It looked like a public beach. So you had just people who were just at the beach and they're just like looking at like these people like in Japanese.
That was one of my favorite parts, was just watching the random people in the background like come up and be like, what the hell's going on? And then walk away.
And so I was wondering, like, what do you like? The American press or whoever, the Hawaiian press, who have no idea who these two guys are, and they're just hearing the translations and they're like, what the fuck is he talking about? His mama?
I may be wrong, but I think the Japanese translator laughed. Like when
it was not Shingo, it was somebody else. They definitely had
somebody else. And I think he bursted laughing when Hagiwara started talking.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know why Shingo wasn't there. I was very disappointed.
I didn't see him there either. But then, how happy do you think Sakakibara enjoyed those comments?
Actually, speaking of Ben Rothwell, do you know that? Guess who's making their debut, BKFC debut? By the way,
I mean, is it Ben Rothwell?
Yes, it is. That just came in through the wire. Sorry, go ahead. What were you saying, CJ?
How upset do you think Sakakibara was about those comments, though?
I don't know. Listen, Sakakibara, I think, kind of likes destruction like that. Yeah. As long as it's like not as, because it was no way attacking him. Listen, listen. Remember when Yaman and Ashizawa had that crazy thing in the press conference, and there's that one like image of
the one security guard who did his job. I have never seen a security guard take a guy out like that before.
But if there's a photo of like Sakakibara in the background smiling, looking like dollar signs. So I think he might be thinking the same thing as well. So I don't know.
It was absolutely hilarious, and it was probably the thing the Japanese fans enjoyed the most from the entire press conference.
Mm-hmm. Well, this is what I've always said, that Hagiwara, doesn't talk like any other Japanese fighter, and that's what I love about him. Is that it's not the typical, my name is Hagiwara. I'm here. I'm here to put on a good show. Please support me.
A weird analogy, but kind of like a Chael Sonnen-esque in a sense that it's clear that he actually thought about what he was going to say before he showed up.
Yes. He clearly did. But I think that I think so. Sonnen, I think, No,
Sonnen's was too rehearsed. Like he clearly, but I'm just saying it's similar in the regard that like Hagiwara was like, I'm going to show up and this is what I'm going to say.
Yeah. I'm surprised though that there was no shoving match. I'm surprised that Suzuki was able to compose himself, because I figure like he's making references to that scandal. He's coming here to fuck it. He's going to be
part of me thinks that Rizin might be a genius and put this fight together knowing that Hagiwara would talk about the scandal.
Oh, absolutely.
And that it would generate news. And it's also a way for them to kind of get rid of Suzuki if Hagiwara wins. You
think they want to get rid of Suzuki? You think that he's too much bad juju at this point for them?
I mean, at least bury him for a while.
Because he has denied being involved with it. So, I don't know if,
No, but he's denied it a little. I'm taking Hagiwara's tonight. He's denied it a little too much.
Mm-hmm. Oh, by the way, don't forget, we forgot the most important point as well about this show. Rise will be selling 8 front row NFT tickets for this event.
Very true. Very true. Also, speaking of security guards, it looked like Floyd Mayweather's security guard, A, has murdered somebody in the past, and B, was getting ready to kill Mikuru at any second.
By the way, what a fucking asshole.
Why did he shove Mikuru? It's so weird.
What a fucking dumb meathead jock alpha piece of shit that guy is. Like, and also he shoulder blocked.
He had that douchey haircut with like the mini ponytail thing.
Yes, and didn't he have a tattoo on his head or something? Or he had a tattoo on his head?
Yeah. Like a full sleeve on one arm, I believe.
Or something like that. Yeah. Well, I like, give me a fucking break. Like what? Like
I was just laughing. I was laughing so much because I was like, do you think Sakakibara was like, hey, Floyd, you should push Mikuru to generate press? And Floyd was like, I don't push people. My security guard does.
I was, because that would not surprise me in the least if they did have a discussion, or that he told them to do that. Let's see other things that happened. Oh, they did. So for the, I think
also, not to cut you off, this might be the only press conference where Mikuru is actually wearing sunglasses in an appropriate location.
Oh yes, yes, yes. I don't know if he was sleeping behind them because I definitely know he was sleeping during the Las Vegas one. He definitely had his eyes closed as soon as he learned that nobody was going to talk to him.
You think
Um,
he flew back to Japan just being like, why the hell do I even come to these?
well, I don't know if he knew he was gonna get so roasted. The other one was just like everybody ignored him. It was just kind of
Yeah.
there for show. This one, he got legitimately. Here's the thing: he was not acknowledged and roasted at the same time.
Yeah.
So it was like a double. Like he had no chance to except for that one moment where like the guy said, "Do you have anything to say, Mikuru?" But like
Yeah.
he had already been roasted by Ren by that point. He had been, Mayweather totally ignored, like just shot down his thing about doing it in MMA gloves. It
That
was,
was so embarrassing.
it was, yeah. So it was, yeah. At this point, maybe he just wanted to go home. I think he just wanted to go home and go to sleep because he
Do you
just
think
had like,
Mikado went to the beach and tried to find some more people who have heard of him to make some YouTube content?
I think so, but potentially, yeah. It was not Mikuru's best day, and yeah, after at the end, he just looked like he just didn't want to be there anymore. He looked
Uh,
so checked out.
Back to randomly, just a thought I had. I want to say I was actually pleasantly surprised with BJ Penn's appearance.
Mm.
I was expecting him to kind of show up and have no idea what he was coming to, kind of like Floyd Mayweather, and just be like, talk about himself, talk about how great he is, and then leave. And he seemed to actually, he pronounced Sakakibara's name correctly. He knew about Rising.
Well, they've
He
worked
thanked
before.
them.
They worked before. I'm guessing. Well,
Right, right, right.
yeah.
Well, so is Mayweather.
Oh, yeah. Good
But
point.
BJ Penn like actually like seemed to do a good thing, and I thought it was well done. I'll say that my one thing that made me laugh is that it was clear that um, Sakakibara wanted him to like say something specific because BJ Penn stopped talking and Sakakibara was like talking to him like this, and then
Mhm.
BJ Penn said something about like MMA coming to Hawaii or something. But
Oh, so what do you think
I thought it
about
was great.
Sakagi Bar doing during a portion of the press conference in English and like in full English? I did not know he was that fluent in English.
I thought it was great. I mean, I really liked how they organized it. I mean, you said it's probably one of their best press conferences. I have to agree.
Yes.
Part one, the way they organized it too, because to be honest, the Mayweather part, is going to be boring as shit. Put that at the end because also that the Mayweather part, you got to learn from Las Vegas and realize every question being asked to him is not, none of them are going to be about Rising.
Yep.
And so put him at the end and get all the information out before he shows up. So part one was great. Part one introduced the event, introduced their intentions in Hawaii, and then part two introduced how to watch the event and what some of the other exciting fights are. And then they let Mayweather rant about Limitless and his trainer, who also looks like an insane person. So, yeah, it was
Uh,
good.
so for
Also, I do laugh because
yeah.
I believe the Japanese one of the Japanese media asked Mayweather, like, ever since you retired, how often are you training? And they weren't able to find a translator. So some dude from the back just yelled.
Oh
The
yeah.
guy
Oh
asked.
yes. Some guy. Oh yes. That was hilarious. Yeah.
And then for some reason, Rising was still trying to find a translator to translate the question, but Mayweather was like, "No, I got it." And Mayweather's answer was such like a ramble that it started with him introducing his trainers and talking about how he trains all the time, and then it ended with, "I'm the best boxer in the world. I don't have to train anymore. I barely train. We just go and have a good time."
I mean, so that's the one. So, like, you've watched UFC press conferences, you've seen Bellator press conferences, you see, I'm guessing Pancras or whatever. This is definitely that's what I like about Rising press conferences, that they just seem so like that. There's no structure to them, and that they just go off the rails all the time. Sometimes good, sometimes bad off the rails. This was like
So
good off the rails.
the best press conferences are when they're interviewing Big Shig after a deep event, and he's just like wearing sweatpants and Crocs, sitting on a chair, and he literally talks about a bunch of stuff that he probably shouldn't be talking about, and you're just like quickly taking notes on everything he's saying. But this is also
I
very
figured,
good.
what is he like talking about? His 10 cats?
No, the best was when he was like, "Oh, this one girl was supposed to fight on the card, but she had an STD, so she had to pull out." And I was just like, feel like you could have just said she was sick, but okay.
What else was I going? Oh yeah. So actually, they announced fights or a fight for Super Rizin, and they announced fights for Rizin 38.
Yeah.
So they announced Nadaka Yoshinari and Bandasek, another Thai boy who's going to get
And
sacrificed.
according to anyone that knows anything about kickboxing, this Thai guy sucks.
I listen, I'm just he has like 100 fights. He's one of those who's been fighting since like 11 years old. And yeah, listen, yeah, he sucks. But listen,
I heard he's not very good, but I think this leads into the thing where Super Rising is going to be like a bunch of different stuff. It's going to be like a boxing match. It's going to be a kickboxing. So, because this isn't Muay Thai, it's kickboxing with elbows.
yes,
But
which is Muay Thai basically. I don't know why they
well,
don't just call it that.
just with it's like Muay Thai without the clinch.
Oh yeah, that's
But so I wouldn't be surprised if we see like an MMA bout on here too, maybe some other weird rules or something. But
you
seems
think
like that.
you think we're gonna see more Mayweather? Because remember that whole thing and you talked about it with I think it was Babu Jack and Jack Wana about this whole thing of that it's gonna be like Team Mayweather versus Rizin or something, and there was no talk about that as well. I'm really curious, and that has me curious, like what that whole thing was, or if that was just like some sort of mistranslation, maybe.
I think that was an idea that they had at one point in time. And it might still be an idea that they have, but I think it's also a really bad idea. So maybe
I think
they're
it sounds
thinking
hilarious.
about, as much as I would love to watch 5 world-class boxers knock out 5 MMA fighters, I think they're deciding, because I was actually surprised. I thought the Kyohei fight was going to be on the Super Rising. So I'm surprised it was on Rising 38. It makes sense to me though, but in hindsight, but I thought it was, when they brought it up on stage, I thought they were going to be on Super Rising. But I bet it seems like they want to have make it like a variety show of fighting. So I bet there'll be an MMA fight on it as well, but I can't tell who it's going to be.
So clearly the Super Rising portion is what they want international people to see, or they want to, so like if they had a choice, we want to see Super Rising, and they're putting a DACA on there
because they want him to be the new tension.
So that's by design. But so we already have like a bunch of fights now announced for Rise.
I wouldn't be surprised if Kota Miura is on the Super Rising.
Do you think the Super Rising portion is just going to be kind of like almost, I don't want to say breaking downish, but you think it's going to have less of the actual, I'm going to say good fighters, and it's going to be kind of more of like the JMMA circus portion, where it's just going to be kind of like, it's going to be just kind of just thrown around to kind of just like get the American, it's going to be less of a structured card, I guess.
Oh no, because Nadaka has no international appeal.
That's why I'm really surprised. That's why I'm like so surprised that like they put him on that. I figured they would put him on the 38.
I don't think, because now since they put Hagiwara on 38, I think they're trying to address what I've always thought the problem was. Mm-hmm. And the problem is getting people to stay through the entire event, because they talk about a halftime show. I'm curious what the hell this halftime show is going to be, to be honest.
It's going to be.
Is it going to be an Olympic skateboarder grinding on one bar for 5 seconds, or is it actually something entertaining? But so by putting Hagiwara on 38, they're doing a good job of keeping people in the venue.
Yeah.
So I bet they might put more of the entertaining fighters on 38, and they might put some of the fighters they want to become popular on the Mayweather card.
That's interesting. Yeah, that's what I was trying. So, but are they?
Maybe like boxing style, they think that Mayweather and Mikiru is enough to bring people to the Super Rising event.
Yeah, but if
then they need to keep people there.
If they're doing they're doing Super Rising first, though. And you said this before, is that like when Mikiru fights and when his fights are over, his fans just leave, right?
That's my worry. That's why I'm saying. That's why they're probably putting Hagiwara on 38 to try to keep those people around. You got to keep them interested.
See. Okay.
So I wouldn't be surprised if like Kota Miura winds up on 38 now, because they want to keep people around.
So I'm trying to think, who else would you say that they would try to maybe put on Super Rising besides Kota Miura? What do you think they would? Do you think they would try to do? I don't know. Who else?
Go completely circus? Do they put Yushi on
That's actually, oh my god.
that would
means
get
that,
attention.
yes, it would. It would, but who?
Wasn't there a TV show called Gigolos in the US? Get one of the guys from the Gigolos TV show and have him fight Yushi for the international host title.
Okay. Well, what about I don't do you think they're gonna try to put more foreign fighters on the Super Rising portion as well? If they wanna gear it towards international, maybe I don't know who exactly, but like you think they would do that or save that or
Do you think they
say
might put like Sidario on the Super Rising part?
so Dario has to be on one of these cards, I have to believe.
So I think
If Ensign's involved as much as they show them, he has to be, you know.
I think Super Rise. I think Rising 38 is pretty much full.
Yeah.
Like we don't know who all the opponents are, but we know at least half of all the matches.
Yeah.
But I think Rising 38 is pretty much full because there's only be like 9 fights. And I think Sidario has to be involved because Ensign's involved. So I think Sidario and also international fight fans love heavyweights.
Yes.
And so I think Sidario will he seems like a good candidate to be on Super Rising portion of the card.
Well, here's the other thing. I'm also. Oh, by the way, Babu Jack says, "Ain't super if there's no left way."
Oh, who was that guy? What's that guy's name? The guy that got arrested but released for theft.
Oh, Daryl Lukoku.
Yeah, he did left way. Get him on there.
I don't even know if he's doing. I don't even know if he's fighting anymore. He's doing like some extracurricular.
He's
stuff.
fighting the law. He's fighting the law. Fighting for his good name.
The interesting though, the thing is, so if they're going to be on Dish or Direct, that means that they're going to have to. That means that they can only like be on that block for a certain amount of time. And
that's what I'm glad you brought that up because they said this show is expected to end at 8:00. And I'm like, tell that to the last Rising show that went to 9:30.
So let's just say they have a block of 3 hours, you know, the typical 3 hours, you know, starts at what time does it start Japan time again?
Oh, it starts at noon.
Okay, it starts at noon. Okay, no, okay, hold on, no. I'll say 5 hours. I'll say 4 or 5. I'll be generous, say 5 hours. That's still 3 hours.
Yeah.
There's no what is that intermission gonna be like? Like
it better be something good because that Tenshin skateboarder thing was so incredibly a letdown. They promoted it so much. And I was just like, oh, that's what that was. Okay. Cool.
I also go ahead, DJ.
Yeah, because wasn't Mayweather incredibly late to his last fight with Tenshin?
Yeah, that was he was in Ginza shopping, I think it was.
Yeah, so I mean, a lot of this is contingent on him showing up on time.
Oh yeah. Well, you know, that's a risk you get with him. And if he comes late, you know, I'm not gonna say, oh, you know, you've dealt with him before. You should expect this with Mayweather.
He comes late. Part of me thinks he comes late on purpose. It's like a power move.
Oh, probably, yeah, no, absolutely. You think we're gonna get his referee in there, whatever his name, the referee, and you're gonna have his announcer. It's gonna probably be
like the other Buffer brother, right? They had the Buffer had to come out and announce it, right?
I think it was, yeah. I think it was the other.
That had to be expensive.
Oh yeah.
So what's the thing? Other fights on this card? I think Sidario, we got Nadaka, we got Miku. There's 2 others. 2 other fights.
Well, we got we're gonna be joined by somebody else shortly. I'll just say CJ, the one I'm most looking forward to is Cali Lou making his Rizin debut.
He's fighting Shibasai, right?
Yes.
Also, I think Shibasai has some rich backer as well because he's always at like the landmark shows sitting front row.
Yeah. Speaking of rich backers, we got Chris of us finally joining us.
Oh,
he's
all the way from Tejas.
He's woken up from his slumber.
I'm not no rich backer. I'm just getting up a little late.
That's fine. That's fine.
Are you sure? I thought I had heard that you changed your screen name to Yoshiba Fan #1.
No. That's never happening.
Would it be Would it be not cool if I bought a potential T-shirt just to wear?
What would that T-shirt be, CJ?
Just have potential logo on it.
Potential. Okay, I got you. Yeah. Wait on. So, could you just go back what you're just finishing that thought, CJ? So you think he has another? So you're talking like a Suzuki thing, or is it just like another lawyer Mikaru thing?
I think he has like a wealthy sponsor because he seems to always, and plus, I don't think he has a big fan base. So it's kind of interesting that he keeps showing up and rising over and over again.
He does not.
Which makes
his videos don't have high views.
So there's a guy who I don't know his name, but I know he's a high level in the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu community in Japan, and he trains with Yuki Nakai. He's like this older guy with incredibly dyed black hair. He's a bigger guy. And he's always sitting like ringside, and he's usually sitting with Shibasai. And I think he's the one that gets him into all these fights. Because Shibasai trains with Yuki Nakai, right? Yuki Nakai was in his corner for one of his fights,
yes,
I believe. And this guy, who's obviously a big backer of Rizin, also trains with Yuki Nakai. So I think via that connection is how Shibasai is getting all these Rizin fights.
Bob Blue Jack says, Andrew, I am not so much disappointed as I am blinded with rage. I'm assuming that you're referencing the Kalulu fights. One of the fighters you have that absurd hatred for just because he put on a boring kickboxing match in Rise.
Oh my god! If they put Matoya on Super Rising, I might throw up.
Well, that's how they get people. That's what they're gonna do during an intermission. They're just gonna have Matoya for wrestle for 3 hours.
You think Sidario's brother shows up on this event?
It's so funny that I don't know if he's still even planning on fighting. All he does is I saw him at the last Rising show. He was there. Oh, he's still there, but like, is he training or anything? He doesn't update his social media in terms of training. When fighters don't update their social media with training, I'm hesitant to believe that they're actually training, because usually,
just smoking a bunch of weed.
Yes. Chris,
like Kyohei Hagiwara.
And isn't that how he got fired from sumo? He got busted for weed, right?
That seems to be a common thing. Or fight. That entire family seems to be that have issues. In sumo. Babu Jack says that Kalulu does have charm more than Cena. The Iranian guy, the Iranian kickboxer, who's right before the intermission in the K1 show, strategically placed. Babu Jack said, but
I remember that.
Come to think of it, since we are talking about, what transpired off the Rizin press conference, I'm just wondering, first of all, how the hell did they get all this stuff into Hawaii in the first place? I know Instant Inouye posted on social media about, there's a special announcement coming, brother. Something big is going to happen with Rizin. I mean, I know that he's involved. I know that his brother Egan's involved for some god-awful reason. I know that BJ Penn is involved. And obviously, Scott Coker and Floyd Mayweather are gonna be involved with this upcoming show for Rizin in Hawaii. But how the hell did the people at the Rizin Fighting Federation get this done in the first place, going to Hawaii?
I have my theory.
Oh, I want to hear it, CJ.
I have a theory. So everyone knows that Sakakibara owns a travel company, right?
Oh, I see.
And whenever they have like their shows outside of Tokyo, they sell tour packages where it's like, we'll arrange for your flights and the hotel, and you can come backstage and meet the fighters. I feel like this is an elaborate, very popular tourist destination that he's chosen to have these Rising events at, but he just happens to own a tourism company.
I mean, for the Japanese, it is a popular destination for them to go to Hawaii because it's much closer to the U.S. than it is going to the lower 48, the rest of the 48, that is, the continental 48.
Well, here's the thing also about that's weird about Hawaii. They only have one big sports venue. I forgot what it's called.
It's outdoor, isn't it? Their college,
Yeah.
isn't it? Their
They
college
have
football stadium.
one sports venue now because Aloha Stadium is either under construction or just dead for the moment. It's the Blaisdell Center on the campus of the University of Hawaii at Honolulu.
So I don't know,
it's
maybe
outdoor. It's outdoor venue too.
Aloha
No,
maybe.
it's an indoor venue. It's
it is.
It's a 12,000 seat arena, I think.
So Aloha. Okay, I was thinking Aloha. But I guess maybe it'll be open by the time Rizin wants to do their show. Maybe they want.
No, it won't. No, it won't because they still have to work on repairs for Aloha Stadium. The only closest outdoor stadium that there is the chain complex for Hawaii football, which now just gotten adjusted for NCAA regulations to like 15,000 seats.
So how the hell do you know this?
Dude,
how do you know all the venues in Hawaii?
Dude, I watch a lot. Well, actually, first of all, I listen to a lot of University of Hawaii football and basketball. So, of course, I know this. Second, a good search to Wikipedia would help me.
Can I make one flashback, completely unrelated? Andrew's going to hate this.
Oh, yes.
When I was in college, the University of Hawaii had an insanely good football team because that guy went there from BYU because he liked to party too much.
Mm-hmm.
Who was that? Do you remember who that was?
I have no idea.
To be honest, I can't remember off the top of my head.
Was that Carson Palmer or something?
No, it wasn't.
No. But I just remember some guy went there and they just like all he did was throw the ball every play. And he got these like insane statistics. And then they went to a bowl game and got smashed.
Yes, I do remember that when they got their asses handed to them by Georgia in the Sugar Bowl in like 2008.
Exactly, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
But
maybe Chris, when Bellator did their shows in Hawaii, what stadium was that? Because I thought they were outdoors. Was it a military base that they do the shows at, or am I
No, it wasn't a military base. It wasn't an outdoor stadium. Obviously, they did those shows from the Blaisdell Arena.
Okay, I don't know what I have.
Is it worth it? Is it worth it for Rising to go to the Hawaii for a 12,000 seater?
I mean,
no, I don't think so.
I mean, you think no. But it's worth it for them to make some type of an impact on North America because, of course, they ain't gonna get, qualified to do shows, in this part of the country where, Andrew and I are because, only Colorado would probably give them an opportunity. And I don't know about either of the Dakotas, more so North than South, wanting to give them an opportunity to run a show there because you're basically running on tribal land anyways. But having a show done in Hawaii will definitely be not only bring one of the biggest MMA shows outside of Bellator since Super Brawl. If you remember those old fights. If you remember those old videos that they used to have from Hawaii back in the day, it would not only bring the biggest type of MMA attention to, Hawaii since Super Brawl and I think K1 Rumble on the Rock.
That's what it was, Rumble on the Rock, yeah.
Mm-hmm, you would also give Hawaii, if you can't go to the lower 48 to do a show, you can definitely do a show over there and it can definitely get buzz over here, despite the fact that many people think that having a show on Hawaiian Standard Time is the worst time for all.
So, but here's the problem.
I think it might be a genius move though, because Hawaii is a market that the UFC has made very clear they're not interested in because they don't have the proper stadium. I can correct that on that. So that's not because of this proper stadium.
So when UFC, when Hawaii was trying to court MMA there, they made offers to UFC and Bellator. So basically Bellator took, so that the state was paying the promotions to come there. Bellator basically took the offer that Hawaii was offering, what I was told.
Well, because I know before that, Dana White had always said the reason they didn't go to Hawaii is they didn't have a big enough indoor stadium.
That's bullshit. That's total bullshit, because they were trying to court MMA to come there. So they were paying.
But this was before Bellator even went there, though. This is back when BJ Penn was champion and he was like begging for them to go to Hawaii.
Okay, well maybe back then, but like when they finally were able to bring MMA there, yeah, it was because Hawaii, they made offers, and the state of Hawaii was paying the promotions to come there, and whatever they offered Bellator said yes immediately. More faster than UFC.
Interesting. Well,
but here's the problem.
Smart, because I think the shows in Bellator, I think their shows in Hawaii have been successful.
Hey, did you know that Leah McFarland's from Hawaii? Did you know that? Did you know?
I did not know that. Did you know that Angela Lee's Canadian?
Yeah, I did not know that either. So here's my problem with the one thing about Hawaii. I get it from a distance perspective, why you do it from Japan, why you don't do it in Iowa or Texas or New York. I get it. Or even California.
Are you criticizing Invicta FC because that Iowa show was brutal?
But I get why, like why Hawaii, but I also don't get. So they expect that the Japanese fans will travel all the way Hawaii just for Rizin. Here's another problem with Hawaii as well.
That's not going to happen.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. Here's the problem with Hawaii as well, is that it's different islands, and I forgot which island, whichever the one that has a stadium. Is it Honolulu or?
It's Honolulu.
Okay, so that's the biggest of the islands. So okay, it's a little bit different, but it's people. So they don't usually have crossover. People from a lot of my understanding is that a lot of Hawaiians just tend to stay to their islands because you have already what's already in your island that's available everywhere else, and for the most part, there isn't like. It's not like, here where, someone from Dallas, Chris, would probably go to a wrestling show that's in Houston, like 3-hour drive, probably, or New York, where you go to like somewhere that's like in Connecticut, New Jersey. People in Hawaii just tend to stay to their own island. There's no crossover. Sorry, CJ, you're going to say something?
I see what you're getting at, but one of the good things is it does seem like they have quite a bit of support from Hawaiians themselves, like not in general, but like I think Sakakibara said like an actual senator invited them to come speak on that beach that day.
Not just a senator, but I think the governor, Glenn Wakai.
Yeah, and Ensign Inoue is obviously big in Hawaii. Egan's big there. BJ Penn's big there.
Yes.
So if they can get this kind of people to help them promote the event and they have the local support they're getting, maybe it could turn into something.
I'm definitely saying it's great that they have all this.
What I was trying to say earlier was that they don't have to worry about the UFC coming to Hawaii ever. Yeah. And since they're doing this with Scott Coker, who has had success in Hawaii in the past,
they can potentially do a Bellator versus Rizin crossover event.
Rizin can be like, is Alima Lay busy? Or do you have any other Hawaiians?
They also can say, hey, we had a show in the US. I know, they remember it's like I guess that's a perception versus reality thing, where they say, we have a show in the US that we did. But the only thing
that's what I laughed about, because when they said, why are you coming to Hawaii? He was like, because Japanese love Hawaii and Japanese people will come to watch the fight. And I was like, I had to laugh because I was just saying, even in having an event in the US, it's all about how it's being perceived by the Japanese people.
I'll say this: listen, and you probably can back this up, CJ. Japanese probably love Paris, France more than Hawaii, because
No, that's not. I will admit there are some Japanese people, they're a little bit older, the older generation, for some reason, are obsessed with Hawaii.
Okay.
And a lot of Japanese girls here take like Hulu classes. Hawaiian stuff's really popular. That one restaurant, what's that restaurant called? Like Eggs and Things or whatever.
Egg
Super
sluts?
Popular. Not that one. No. The only sluts we have are coffee sluts.
Oh yes.
Oh, that's Guam. That's Guam, dude.
So, but here's but here's the thing also is that, so if they're doing this in Hawaii, they clearly want people who are from America. I don't know, maybe they're fans to either come to Hawaii or whatever to come see the show. Here's the problem though, is that Rizin has killed like 90%, maybe
of
almost
their
all
interest. I
of
think you
yeah.
know this by now. Risen's
So
killed nearly all, if not all, of their interest of having their shows televised here.
So
Basically, playing romper room with
that's why I'm
trying
saying.
to get a television deal. Not only trying to get a television deal, but trying to get a streaming deal because they tried. Hell, they're trying right now, trying to get these shows on their stream pass. But the thing is, it's hard for us in North America to maneuver that thing. I mean, it's basically trying to find a needle in the haystack.
The success of this show.
Mm-hmm.
The success of the show is going to depend. They have to get Hawaiians. Hawaiians are the only people that will actually come to this show.
Well, no, I will consider, if the card is good, if like they didn't announce a good main event, I would maybe consider flying out to the show. Maybe. Maybe.
But you're gonna have to take up a bunch of vacation days just to do so from your shoot gig. But I mean,
no, I would probably just have to miss like 3 days, probably leave on Thursday. I don't know if there's straight shots to Hawaii. Maybe stop off in California, maybe, but yeah, you can. It is possible to do in 3 or 4 days, I think.
Instant can get you a job on Hawaii 5-0 or Magnum.
By the way, Babalu says eggs and things is pretty good. Sorry, Chris, go ahead.
Eggs and things is great.
But aren't those shows canceled?
Are they? Oh no, they have the reboots. They have the reboots of
Isn't Bobby Lee on one of them?
Yes, and there's also CSI Hawaii. Don't forget that CSI Hawaii. With but
still, though, point of the matter to me is that think about how they managed. I mean, here's the second thing I want to know. How did they manage to get the Super Rizin card on fight? I mean, yeah, I know it's Mayweather. He's got a hell of a lot of stroke to do with, how this thing is being promoted, even though he originally put over the stream pass and that shit ain't working. But still, though, when it comes down to potential promotion for Rizin, and obviously you got this show, Super Rizin, coming up on Fight TV on September 25th. But if you think about the future, you got New Year's Eve coming up, obviously. You got this potential Rizin show in Hawaii in 2023. I mean, wouldn't you think that, this could possibly be some type of a sign of mixed martial arts returning back to a post-Triller Fight Club, Fight TV?
Well, I mean, they are on Fight TV for at least the Super Rizin portion, so that's good. And that's the other thing I was actually, kind of going off that. I do agree with your that statement. But so if they're going on Fight TV for the foreseeable future as an option for us, it is possible. I mean, if they can get that fan base back, yeah, I definitely think they, as long as they're on Fight. I do think that the Fight TV thing really was leaving it really hurt Rizin a lot, and I think there's a lot of evidence to support that.
I just had the most negative thought. I was like, or this could be like when Pride lost the Fuji TV deal and did that show in Vegas and then died.
Yeah. But here's the thing, though. When Rizin left Fight TV in February of 2020, there was no such thing as not only Triller, but Triller Fight Club. There was really no such thing. I mean, Jake Paul's fighting career was only one fight old. Basically, you didn't have to worry about all these distractions. And of course, COVID-19, let's not forget that. You didn't have to worry about all these things that, pretty much put a plague to Rizin. I mean, pretty much put a plague to, the global fight calendar or just the global calendar in general. And now here we are with Rizin being back on Fight TV, I'm just hoping that things are different.
I mean, yeah, but so they have to promote. They're gonna have if they want to get this show, actual tickets sold, not comping or papering. Then they're gonna have to put more effort into their English or international outreach.
Well, I think to sell this show, it is going to rely 100% on this auditions that they're having.
Yes,
because to sell this show, the fact is they're going to need a number of Hawaiian fighters on this card.
Yes.
And that seems to be what this audition's running for. And I saw a picture from, I think, Jim Ozeki. Was that his name? Jim Ozeki.
Yep.
Who does his podcast with Instant Inoue. You guys check out. But it looked like there were a lot of people there. So hopefully they can get some exciting talent and then via YouTube generate interest for this. Because if the event is happening in 2023, which, like they said, this gives them a lot of time to build up interest for this. So if they can build up interest on YouTube, don't put anything on Rising Stream Pass, make it free, put it on YouTube, copy the breaking down formula, let people get to know who these Hawaiian fighters are, who their opponents are. Then I could see it succeeding and selling a lot of tickets.
But also, obviously, I don't think that Rise is just going to depend on the Hawaii contingent of fighters to sell the show. I think they're going to also try it as an opportunity to either put maybe, I don't know about Horiguchi, but one of the other guys on their roster, one of the Japanese people.
Well, naturally, you got to mix it up. You got to have, it's kind of like an Ultimate Fighter finals card. You put the Ultimate Fighter fights on there, but you put a couple of main event slots on there to juice it up a little bit. Rizin
Super Fighter, maybe. So before I know that you gotta go soon, CJ, which is why unfortunately, Babu Jack, we don't have time to talk about deep kick at this point. Maybe you two can talk about on high kicks and arm bars. But for that, you should just call it high kicks. You should, when you guys talk about deep kick, it should just be called high kick. So I just wanted to ask about one of the fights, and other than Kalilu, which is going to be the best fight of all time against Shibasai. The other fight that they announced that looks absolutely insane is going to be Luis Gustavo and Juri Ohara. And I want to get your thoughts on that, CJ.
I was asked about that fight earlier today, and I think that fight is going to be a hail of gunfire. That fight is going to be absolutely nuts. Juri Ohara is on such a hot streak. But, I mean, Gustavo is just like a murder. He's like Vanderlei Silva reincarnated. It's like a murder machine.
Yes.
And there's no possible way this fight goes to a decision.
Well, so you know what that means, CJ? That means it's going to go to decision. How that always goes.
Not this time. Soccer kick stomps. When in Ohara's last fight, his soccer kick instinct is like a hair trigger. He's like,
yeah,
if your face goes anywhere below your waist, I'm soccer kicking you immediately. That's beautiful. It's a great fight.
I'm disappointed that that's not going to be on the Super Rising portion, though. That should be like, you want people to see what Rise is about and what potentially can be like the fight that you're perceiving. That should be on the Super Rising portion. Not the Rise of third. I don't know, like especially because you got Foreigner there as well, Luis Gustavo. If you want to do the whole Foreigner thing, I would think that'd be the perfect MMA fight.
I'm going to go devil's advocate. It's too violent. It's too violent for the masses.
It's too violent for Dish and Dish. Okay.
When Juri Ohara double stomps Gustavo's head in the corner, I think they'll declare that it was too violent.
Mm-hmm. I see.
I mean, come to think of it, this event should be shown. The entire event is in the United States should be shown in full. Let's be real.
I don't know how, like that whole thing. I'm still like confused about. Like, what we know is that Super Rise is going to be available to us at this point. And by the way, it's being promoted on Fight, not as Rizin. It's being promoted as Mayweather versus Asakura. So you can't even type in Rizin and find the show.
Obviously, it's being promoted by Integrated Sports Pay-Per-View.
Yes, and it's not even being called Super Rizin. I have no idea how you can search for it on Deep or for on Dish or DirecTV. So it's probably gonna pop up as
Asakura versus Mayweather on most cable and satellite providers and telco providers in Canada as well.
I have a question for you guys. The way the pay-per-view works, is there a chance that they do this whole thing, or would the time block just not make sense to be able to fit this all in?
I think it was the show with what is it? It was when Crow Cop fought Kosaka. Whatever show that was.
Is that the one where it just turned off?
Well, no, because no, that wasn't that. I forgot what was that. I think that was
it was the kickboxing tournament where it was Taiju versus Koji.
Yeah. No, but I remember now. Kosaka Crow Cop was, I think the main event was Cape versus Asakura, I believe. Okay. So they actually showed the Fuji TV portion on actual pay-per-view here. It was actually on by Integrated Sports as well. So they didn't show anything from the previous portion. So I think it's just going to be Super Rizin. I don't think they're going to, maybe they'll have the 38 portion on Fight. But I think Super Rizin portions right now is looking like going to be only available more generally to us. And when I say us, I mean us in the United States.
So I should order it on Rising Stream Pass and just watch it that way, is what you're saying?
I think if you order on Rising Stream Pass, you pray that you can actually watch it. I mean, if you have your thing set to Japan, you should have no problem. But I don't even deal with the Stream Pass anymore because the interface is so awful and terrible. I can't deal with it anymore. And I can't do the whole switch my thing to Japanese thing.
But come to think of it, one more thing we can talk about while we're here with you, CJ, is that there are going to be more fights announced. As a matter of fact, next Tuesday, September the 6th. So, that's going to be exciting. Are you hoping to see any more fights announced for Super Rizin on that date?
I mean, obviously, I'm looking forward to see the fights they announced. I think, as I said before, I think Sidario might be on it. But the last one, I have no idea who they're going to put on it. So I'm kind of curious to see what their whole thought process is, because so far we have a boxing exhibition and a kickboxing match. So I'm wondering if there's going to be an MMA fight on this, or if they're going to go all crazy and go Full Metal Jacket and put like a Indian arm wrestling, whatever they called it.
Oh no! This is not Fight Circus. There's no John Nutt running the damn show, okay?
Actually, quickly, CJ, before you have to head out, what do you think they're going to put the Atom Weight Grand Prix?
Obviously that's going to be on the Rising 38 portion, but I don't think it won't be the main event. It will probably be one of them will be the fight. My guess would be one of them will be the fight right before the intermission, and one of them will be the fight right after the intermission.
Okay.
If there's an intermission.
Yeah, well, I think there's gonna be an intermission. The only question is what's gonna happen, because so if I thought they're gonna do like 5 fights on Super Rizin, 5 fights on Rizin 38, and that's how they're gonna do it. Now it could be just like 14 fights or 15 fights altogether. Now I'm actually thinking about it. They might just like put like 20 fights, 50 fights for all I know.
It's supposed to be 5 and 9. I think it's 5 and 9.
5. Oh, okay. Well, good luck on that intermission. Whatever they plan to do. But CJ, I know you gotta go. Plug everything you're doing, because you're doing a lot of stuff now. A lot of great stuff.
Sogo-dashkaka.com, social media. You can find it on there. I have my High Kicks and Arm Bars podcast, Bob Blue Jack. I have my podcast with Shu Hirata. This week, because every MMA promotion in Japan decided to do something on September 11th, I will be releasing interviews all week in preparation for Deep Jewels 38 and for Pancrase, because Karen is fighting and people need to know about it.
Are you commentating on the new Pancrase show coming up, or no?
No, I think it's just, I'm only really doing that when Stuart can't fit it into his schedule, because he commentates everything.
Yes, and now announces and is now announcer as well for Rise.
Busy man.
Oh yes.
Well, not only Rise but Noah as well.
Oh yeah, I have Noah as well. And don't forget, let's talk JMMA.
Yeah, Shu Hirata.
Yes. Next episode.
Every once in a while, Shu accidentally reveals stuff that he's not supposed to.
You know what? I think
funny.
he's gonna be doing a hell of a lot more because he's a pretty happy man nowadays with Yusaku Kinoshita being in the UFC.
Oh
he
yes,
did very well.
Yes, congratulations on Yusaku Kinoshita. Chris, you want to take us out?
Yeah, might as well go ahead now that I'm here. I mean, if you want to check out more about the We Are Rising podcast, you can obviously subscribe to this YouTube channel, which we hope you're doing now. If you want to check out more about us, obviously we're on Twitter. I'm at Chris Gary 92. Andrew is at abencher1. The show handle is at We Are Rising Pod. WeAreRisinPod, all in one word. And obviously, if we ever tend to get around to getting back to audio form, we're available: Stitcher, SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcast of choice. And obviously, check out my podcast, Focus Fights Audio. It's available on all those platforms I just mentioned as well, and more, with iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, and Odyssey. Obviously, 3 of the biggest radio apps in this damn country. And also, check out, if you want to hopefully check out the Rizin events, check out Super Rizin, September 25th, Fight TV, 11 p.m. Eastern, 10 Central, 8 Pacific. And hopefully Rizin 38 will be on that package as well. But we got to wait for all the details to be sorted out, and there are more fights to be announced next week.
Yes.
So
by the way, you got an interview coming up, right? With
yes, I got an interview with Battlefield Fight League ring announcer Ryan Ventura. He's going to be talking to me about how he got snubbed for this whole DAZN ML Fight Series thing.
Mm-hmm. Also, CJ, you also have a special program or thing coming up on Team. No, I was about to say dates, but Team Pravaja, right?
Well, I just interviewed Karen. I have an article coming out on her. And I'm interviewing Mika Nagano. I'm interviewing Aya Murakami. I'm interviewing Emi Fujino. I'm interviewing Sayako. And I just interviewed Shihiro Sawada from Shuto.
Yes.
So lots of content coming up.
The big wrestling prospect from
exactly.
From there. Chris, sorry, go ahead. Continue your thing.
Continue. I'm just about damn near ready to wrap this whole thing up in a bow and send it off.
Oh, I thought we were good.
But still, though, obviously, check out our podcast, check out my podcast, check out CJ's podcast with Shu Hirata. But still, though, we hope that whatever you do, y'all continue to support the Rizin Fighting Federation in all their future endeavors, because we all know that much like pro wrestling, similar to what John Oliver said, it's better than whatever you like right now. Because as we all know, when it comes to the superior rule set, as Lindy Hart can attest to, God damn it, I hate when I do this. But yeah, I'm gonna get this right one of these days, damn it. I'm gonna get this right one of these days, but still though, pro wrestling and the superior rule set are better than whatever you like right now, because as Lenny Hart can attest to, and we out. Sorry for being late, but we hope to check y'all out later.